person did that. So it means if you say 20 years ago he did that, it means you are assuming that he has no room for improvement. He has no room for growth, no room for development. And that would be missing a great possibility that yes, there is room for growth. Or if a Muslim says, you know what, 30 years ago I was born Muslim. A Muslim is an activist. A Muslim is not a historical entity. He or she is not somebody who became a Muslim in such and such an era. Of course, everything has a beginning. But with an activist, there's something very important about an activist. There's ongoing demonstration and animation and full disclosure of examples of who that individual represents. So you can see cultural Muslims or people who others culturally call kafirs, they're somehow become outdated when we study the Qur'an. So if somebody who's outside our, let us put it this way, our club or our group or our society or our community is not necessarily a kafir, and since somebody who is inside the community or that all those within the community are not necessarily Muslims from the Qur'anic standards, what does the language tell us of the kafir? Very important that you should remember this your whole life. Because this is not about placebos, this is fact. A kafir is somebody in whose life divine guidance is concealed, is suppressed, is hidden. It's not apparent. It's not visible. Let's repeat that. A kafir is somebody who deliberately suppresses, conceals, hides divine guidance. How do you and I deliberately hide, conceal and suppress divine guidance? The way we live. If somebody were to look at us and deal with us and interact with us, they will not see lofty values. What do they see in us? Generally, they meet us when they say, oh, what's your name? Oh, who are you? So we already tell them by our name we are Muslims. This is a placebo that has hit the world for centuries. All we are doing, we are following Arab culture, and Iranian culture, and Indian culture, and we think these cultures are the best in the world. That is why we name our children after Arabs, after Iranians, and after Indian people. No offense to Arabs or Indians or Iranians. But Arabs and Iranians and Indians and nobody else is the standard of God guidance. So the first thing which fools the average quote-unquote Muslims is their name. They feel they are Muslims because of their name. And they get the impression and they convey this, oh, you are not a Muslim, I can tell from your name. That is why in the rituals the Muslims do, when they get their children married to non-Muslims and they give them the package called Shahada, they said you got to change your name. You see? They don't realize that they need to change their values, but they're quick to tell others, you have got to change your name. Because name is a big thing with Muslims, not values. Name is a big thing. Dress is a big thing. cultural habits is a big thing, not divine values and principles and concepts. So how does an individual suppress divine guidance, hide it, conceal it, when it does not feature prominently in his or her discourse? How do you and I conceal divine guidance? How do you and I behave like kafirs when divine guidance does not feature prominently in our discourse? I don't mean we have to say God, 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 Allah, 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 Allah. We don't have to do like that. That is craziness. I mean, when you deal with me and I deal with you, you should meet and we should meet people of substance, not of straw. Is that? We should meet people of substance, not straw. We should meet people of quality, not culture. Especially where those cultures are almost half dead. Because you can look around in the world today. People are interested in what is progressive, what is competitive, what can wither the storms of human society. So a kafir fundamentally is somebody who suppresses and conceals and hides and covers up divine guidance in such a way that you got to take a magnifying glass, a telescope or a microscope to really look for it. It's not normally discernible in his or her life. So don't go and look for kafir because they don't dress like you and I, or they don't have names like you and I, or they don't pray like you and I, or they don't bury their dead like you and I. A kafir is someone in whose life divine guidance is not explicit, is not visible, does not stand out. So the Qur'an gave us some traits, some features, some characteristics of these kafirs. And I told you them last week when I spoke a little bit about them. And one of it, you can observe the signs of kufr in human beings. الذين يستحبون الحياة الدنيا على الآخرة. They're crazy, they're mad over the pursuits of matter that do not have a long-lasting value and impact on the future. They're preoccupied with low life, with base life. This is the meaning of hayat al-dunya. If somebody, and Jesus Christ is reported to have said in the Bible, he said, howbeit, if a man gaineth the world and loseth his soul in the bargain. Do we really worry about the quality of life that we live? Do we really worry about the quality of life that we are sharing with our children and living with them? Do we really worry what quality of life we are presenting to our friends and our relatives in the world? Well, somebody who is not a kafir is concerned. Somebody who is not a kafir is always concerned about the akhirah. And I'm not talking when people are dead. Because in this community, like in many other communities, people come alive when somebody is dead.